Hello, this is J. Clark Gardner with the EdTech Dojo, and today I'm going to be talking about the 6 essentials to an impressive presentation. So I'm imagining that you came to watch this video for a reason, that you're probably going to be giving presentations soon, or a workshop, a lesson, or talk. Maybe you give them all the time at work or just getting started doing them at school, and I want some tips, some essentials to help you give a good presentation. So as we go through these 6 essentials, I want you to think about those specific times when you will be giving a presentation in the future so that you can immediately apply them to your situation. So today we will do 2 things. First of all, identify the qualities of good presentations and the qualities of bad presentations. And then we will look at those qualities to then internalize the 6 essentials of an impressive presentation that you can then apply to your own specific situation. So the way we're going to do this is with the help of 2 friends of mine here, Gary and Steve. Now, one of these cats is very good at giving presentations, the other not so good, and I'll let you be the judge of who. But we're going to watch some video clips starring Gary and Steve giving a presentation on the same subject and identify what the good person does well and what the not as good person doesn't do so well to help us learn these essentials. So let's go ahead and go to the first video clip here and discover what the first essential to an impressive presentation is.
Okay, where's my introduction? Okay, today I'm talking about social media stuff. I think, okay, there it is. An introduction to social media marketing. That's my subject.
How's it going, everyone? Today we're going to be discussing the basics of social media marketing. Did everybody get my handout? This will help you follow along and take notes.
Okay, so what happened there? Steve and Gary, very different ways that they were giving us the beginning of their presentations there. You'll notice that Gary had a lot of papers. He was shuffling them around. He didn't even know the title of his presentation. He was very flustered and didn't seem very knowledgeable. Whereas Steve, he had an outline ready. He was looking at his learners. He was very prepared and very confident. So that really brings us to our first principle, which is to prepare and to practice. You've got to have an outline of what you're going to talk about. Write it out, be very specific about it. A very basic outline is just an introduction, outlining the goals of the instruction, giving the content, and reviewing the content. You also need to rehearse your presentation. You need to practice. You need to know the content, and that way you'll feel more confident. You'll feel more calm, and the content will come across more clearly. And you got to get feedback, if at all possible, when you're doing your rehearsals, when you're doing your practicing, from people that can tell you what you did well and what you can improve on. But if you prepare and practice, that will go a long way to help your presentation go more smoothly. So let's look at the second essential here, starring our friends Gary and Steve.
Alright, so those 3 articles give a short history of how Twitter got started. Let's dive into the long version here. Who wants to read the first 4 paragraphs?
Alright, that concludes my presentation of 6 ways to get started marketing with social media. It's definitely a complex subject, but I think following these simple steps will give you a great foundation.
What can we learn from that clip? Gary was very tired. He had a stack of books. He was going through a lot of content, while Steve simply went through 6 things, even though it was a very complicated subject. He just had a basic outline. Really, the simpler the better when giving a presentation. If you are able to just keep it very simple and short, it can be more memorable, and the learners won't get their brains full. They won't get overloaded. A way to make it simple is to be organized, to write that outline and have it very carefully scripted. Time yourself when you're practicing. Make sure that you're not going too long. Time can really get away from you when you present. Give handouts at the end of your presentation. If you have more details or more content, people that want more details can have them if you give them a handout at the end. A great thing to keep in mind is the phrase, when in doubt, leave it out. If you are struggling whether or not to leave something in, more often than not, you're best off leaving it out for the sake of brevity. So what is the third essential to an impressive presentation? Let's once again turn to our friends Gary and Steve to find out. So the first was prepare and practice. The second, the simpler the better. What is our third essential? Let's watch.
Facebook has become a very effective way to familiarize your target market with your brand. This multifunctioning tool is the future of personalized marketing.
Facebook began as a tool for people to connect with each other. Now it's much more than that. It can be a powerful marketing tool as well.
So who did you find more engaging in that clip? Gary is obviously reading from a piece of paper. He's very bland and he's not looking at his audience. Steve, on the other hand, he's going from memory. He's confident. He's looking at everybody. I think that it's very important to, when you're giving a presentation, to make it a presentation. Don't get up and read something. You got to speak, not read. And the way to do that is not to write out paragraphs that you can read to your learners, but to make notes. Simple notes that will help you keep on track if you need to keep on track. And the other thing to do is ask questions. Make it a discussion. People learn better when they discuss. And once again, if you practice, rehearse a lot, you'll be able to be more confident and not need to rely on that piece of paper so much. So our first principle, our first essential was to practice and prepare. Our second principle was the simpler the better. The third, speak, don't read. And now what is the fourth essential to an impressive presentation? In this clip, let's pay special attention to the visuals that these guys have prepared.
Okay, so as you can see, effective social media marketing with LinkedIn can consist of showcasing your key products and services, hosting media, revealing special offers, giving contact information, showing...
LinkedIn is important because it can help you connect, showcase, and grow. Let's talk more about that. Now, say I have a profile page that I want.
So Gary's slide was full of text, 10, 12 bullet points, not even bullet points, but sentences. And it was not very visually appealing. Your eyes don't have anything to focus on, and it's really not helping the learning. Steve had 3 or 4 words up and a logo. His was just a small word or phrase that accented what he was speaking about. This essential is to simplify your visuals. Keep it to key words or bullet points, things that are going to accent what you are speaking about. It makes no sense to put something up that you will then read or say word for word. That is not going to help your learning. It's going to distract from your learning. A lot of times, imagery can distract from the learning if it is not there to simply accent what you are discussing. And that goes for images too. You don't want to simply put up images because you can. A lot of times it can be tempting to get really clip art friendly with your presentation. But really, if you remember that it should all be there to support the learning, and that really a presentation is a presentation. It's not, we're not there to read, we're there to listen and discuss. So if you simplify your visuals, it will help the learning take place in a more effective way. So let's watch our fifth essential here. Our first 4 again: prepare and practice. The second, the simpler the better. Third, speak, don't read. And then fourth, simplify your visuals. So let's watch it now and see what more we can learn from our little friends here.
I'm sure some of you have experience with Twitter hashtags, but that's what I have to say. Any questions? No? Okay, next slide.
So now that we know what a hashtag is, let's find out how they can help us with marketing. Why don't we have you break up into pairs and work together to come up with 5 to 10 ways you could use this feature in marketing? Then we'll have each pair share their list.
So Gary was very smug. He said what he knew and he didn't even give the audience a chance to respond. Whereas Steve, he prepared an activity to help the learners learn from each other. This is very essential in a good presentation. You got to engage your audience. You've got to ask questions. Now, this is more than just saying, who has a comment? Who has a question? You really do have to prepare something ahead of time. Plan an activity. Obviously, Steve had put in some thought in preparation to this activity to make sure that the students were able to engage with each other and learn from one another. You got to foster discussion. You got to really plan for this. Otherwise, it's just going to be you speaking. And what if somebody in the audience, I'm sure somebody in the audience is going to have something good to say to help the learning, things you may not know, things that will help the students learn from each other. So that is very important to engage your audience. So our first essential, prepare and practice. The second, the simpler the better. Third, speak, don't read. Fourth, simplify visuals. Fifth is engage your audience. So we have one more, and for this one, we're going back to the beginning of these the presentations these little guys are giving, and we're going to see what the sixth essential is from this clip.
Hi guys, thanks for coming to my presentation. I'm really nervous and I'm not very good at this sort of thing, so just be patient with me, okay? Okay, let's get started here.
All right, thanks for coming to my workshop. I've been doing a lot of research on this, and I think we're all going to learn something today. So let's get started.
The difference here is obviously confidence. Gary looked like he was going to pass out. He told everybody how nervous he was, how bad he knew he was going to do, whereas Steve said, hey, I'm excited, I've done my research. It's really important when you're given a presentation to cultivate confidence in yourself and in the audience. The last thing you want to do when you get up to give a presentation is apologize. If you apologize and say you're going to do a bad job or you don't know what you're doing, you're really losing your credibility immediately. And I think we've all been to presentations when that happens, and we're less likely to listen and less likely to take seriously the presenter. A way to be confident is to once again practice. If you practice, you'll be more comfortable, more calm. You'll come from a more authentic place, which will help the learners. And if at all possible, try and have fun when presenting. I think a lot of us are very afraid of presenting and nervous, but if you can have fun and be yourself, and come from that authentic place, you might just be surprised at how enjoyable the experience can be and how much you and your learners can get from it. So those are the 6 essentials to an impressive presentation, and let's just go through each one. You got to prepare and practice, and the simpler the better when you make your presentation. Make sure you speak, don't read. Make it a discussion. Simplify your visuals and make them minimal. Engage the audience through questions and activities that are carefully planned. All of this will help you cultivate confidence and help your learners and you have a good experience in the presentation, workshop, or lesson. Those are the 6 essentials to an impressive presentation. For more information on educational technology and instructional design and resources, a podcast, blog, visit edtechdojo.com. Thank you very much.